Today, we're looking at a selection of hand-wound watches from Panerai. Why hand-wound? Well, because probably more than any other maker of high-end sports watches, Panerai has really continued to focus on hand-wound movements. If you're looking for a hand-wound watch from Panerai, chances are it's going to come from either the familiar Radiomir or Luminor line. Let's kick things off with a look at some Radiomir watches featuring the P3000 hand-wound movement with 3 days of power reserve. Here we have PAM's 425, 424, and 931. All of these watches feature cushion cases and the absence of a crown protector. In addition to using Panerai's in-house 72-hour hand-wound movement, what the first of these watches have in common is a large 47mm Radiomir case with wire lugs. The design pretty instantly calls to mind that of the iconic military diving watch that saw quite a few variations over the years. The Radiomir SLC 3 days, with its baton-shaped hour markers, is an unusual twist on the traditional Panerai sandwich dial. PAM 424 features the California. This is a design that Panerai has reprised several times. In here we have a more recent version of the California dial, the PAM 931. This one has kind of a faux patinated dial and a case treatment that also has kind of a vintage look to it. Panerai has a long history of outfitting its watches with movements with exceptionally long power reserves. The Radiomir 8 days 45mm PAM 992, which came out in 2019, presents a classic Radiomir shape in a wearable 45mm case, which itself has a faux aged finish. Panerai's military-inspired watches typically clock in at 47mm, but this smaller size definitely looks the part. Here we have the PAM 2020, the latest in a series of watches that Panerai has made in honor of the Panaristi Collector Group, which turned 20 last year. The Venti Panaristi is a vintage-looking 45mm Radiomir with a Panerai logo at 12 o'clock, the logo of the Panaristi at 6 o'clock, and a Sunray brown sandwich-style dial. Now let's take a look at the Luminors. The Luminor case shape with its signature crown-protecting device with lever might just be the thing that Panerai is best known for around the world. The crown protector system enabled Panerai to be instantly recognizable from across a room. Today, the Luminor is available in a range of sizes and featuring a number of different Panerai movements, several of which wind by hand. Since GMTs were already part of the Panerai story, they naturally included a version for travelers. Here we have the PAM 670 with the P2002E movement in brushed titanium case. The base GMT movement at the heart of this watch, the P2002, began development in 2002. There was even a tourbillon designed to be an extremely Panerai type of tourbillon. Note its robust construction, 30-second rotation, and how the tourbillon cage rotates perpendicular to the oscillation of the balance. And now let's take a look at some Luminors featuring the P3000 movement that we already saw in the Radiomirs before. Launched 10 years ago, the Luminor 1950 3 days PAM 372 has been a part of the Luminor lineup since 2011. Panerai followed this up with a Luminor Marina version, PAM 422, featuring the P3001 movement, allowing for a small seconds display and a power reserve indicator on the back. There's also a new Destro version, the PAM 1075, which features an ivory sandwich dial. And just like we saw before with the Radiomir, Panerai also has you covered with some P5000 based 8-day Luminors. Here we have PAM's 914 and 915, the latter with small seconds. Each of these watches comes in a wearable 44mm Luminor case with 300 meters of water resistance and vintage style looks, complete with a faux patina lume in the black sandwich dial. And finally, we have the newest Luminor logo models. These feature the P6000 movement, which came out in 2018. It's Panerai's newest hand-wound movement and the one that took the manufacturer fully in-house. PAM 1086 we have here is 44mm polished steel, features a black dial with luminous markers, and is water resistant to 100 meters. The PAM 1084 has a small seconds at 9 o'clock. It also has the P6000 movement and water resistance to 100 meters. So there you have it, a pretty wide selection of sport watches, all featuring hand-wound movements. We've even got some complications in the mix. The ETA Unitas movements that you used to find throughout the Panerai line are gone. There's really nothing quite like Panerai in contemporary watchmaking.